All right, good evening, everybody. I'm student meteorologist Jake Taylor on this Wednesday edition of FSU Weather with my colleague.
And I'm meteorologist Jonathan Bellis, and the weather is changing outside. You've been outside this afternoon.
We've got pretty substantial changes coming over the next weekend, or over the next couple of days of the weekend, right?
Yeah, the first taste of winter almost is going to be moving through this weekend, and that comes with some health changes as well.
Yeah, some temperatures might be dipping into the 30s, and we've all heard those stories about, you know, the people saying they feel pressure or pain in their joints, right?
Yeah.
When a storm's coming, and it's kind of like a precursor almost. But actually, some scientists have been looking into this over the past couple of years. Right?
Yeah, these studies have been going on for decades, and the leading reasoning for that pain, or arthritis pain, is mainly due to the pressure changes that are associated with these bigger weather systems.
Right. There's a lot of fluid that makes our joints capable of being so mobile and being able to withstand the pressure that they go through. And when the pressure changes, they respond to the change, and so it might expand, and you'll feel swollen in pain.
Yeah, just like any other health issue, this changes a little bit from person to person. Some people complain about it when the pressure is going up, some complain about it when it's going down, and then others still believe that it's when the air gets cooler.
Right. So every time we have a storm come by, you know, the pressure usually changes and can change very significantly in a short period of time.
Yeah,
so.
and we're going to have a lot of that this weekend. There are a set of two cool fronts coming through. There's one that's just on our western areas right now, and there's a second one coming in this weekend.
Right. So you have more to tell us about that, right?
There is. Here's a look at that first front coming in, just barely making it into our western areas right now, pushing into just right around the Dothan area. And this is not a whole lot of rain associated with this one. Nothing like a couple of weeks ago where we had that strong squall line pushed through. Just a couple of sprinkles with this, with a couple of embedded thunderstorms in southeastern and southern Alabama, and just starting to work into the Florida Panhandle right now. This isn't going to be a whole lot of a nuisance throughout the evening hours. This is going to be out of our hair by tomorrow, but there's a lot of drier, cooler air behind this system, really starting a transition into what really is fall, and then maybe even winter this weekend. We're talking upper 30s this weekend. A couple of spots could see a little bit of frost this weekend, and that's going to be quite different than what we've had the last couple of weeks, really. And temperatures tonight, though, 60 degrees with a couple of those showers I mentioned this weekend. But the weather was perfect last night up in Virginia, but unfortunately, the mechanics didn't really agree with that.
Right. But in terms of Halloween coming up, right, this Friday, right, what have we got to say about what's the forecast really going to be looking like specifically on Halloween?
Well, the Halloween forecast for us across the southeast is going to be pretty decent. It's going to be a little on the cool side, but it's going to be no rain in the forecast, at least here.
Yeah, we're not expecting the real cool, the colder blast to come hit us just yet, right? We still have the weekend before that happens.
Now, by the time you get to the change in the forecast for Sunday morning, it's going to be quite different. But we did have that rocket launch last night.
Oh yeah, thankfully not a manned mission. There was no fatalities in this event, but exploded almost right after takeoff.
Yeah, we wanted to talk to you about this. If you can bring that radar up one more time. This is actually the radar a couple of minutes after launch, and you can see the debris falling out of the sky in terms of cloud cover, that dust falling back towards the surface.
That's really a fantastic look at it. You really don't realize how much of an effect that can have on what's going on. But for now anyway, we're going to go ahead and throw it out to Braden with a look at the local.
All right, thank you, Jake. And you know, we have been talking about the cool temperatures coming, but before we get those cool temperatures, we're gonna have to deal with some rain. You can see rain right now working its way into Marianna and into Bainbridge, working its way to the east and the southeast. Tallahassee, we are gonna get some showers tonight, so be ready for that. Bring an umbrella, might even be an embedded thunderstorm in there, so let's be careful for that. So right now, we're looking at 79 in Tallahassee, 77 out in Monticello, 81 out in Valdosta, 79 out in Thomasville, 81 in Bainbridge and Marianna as well, 77 down in St. Mark's and Carabel. So we are looking at those high 60s and low 80s really controlling our area over the next couple hours. Onshore flow, really feeling some moisture, will increase our rain chances into tonight, and that is really what is prevailing. That flow from the southwest going to move very quickly, though, to the northwest, and that is when our temperatures are going to change and the cooler air is going to make its way in. Water vapor showing moisture moving into our area since this morning. A little dry patch, but moisture starting to make its way back in right now, and that is where we are going to see that rain. Orange really showing the dry temperatures or the dry air moving out of our area. So cold front in control, gonna bring our rain starting at about right now and maybe until 10 or 11 o'clock. Expect those showers and maybe a couple of thunderstorms. As we put this into motion, we're gonna go into Thursday afternoon. That's tomorrow, gonna be pretty breezy. Winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusting up to 20 at times from the northwest, and that is going to bring in those cooler temperatures, but sunny, which is going to be awesome, getting into the mid-70s tomorrow. Friday night, though, your Halloween night, it's going to be a good night for trick-or-treating. Decent temperatures, a little cool, but right here, this is our second blast of cold air that's going to make our way into the area on Friday night, give us much cooler temperatures than we'll experience tomorrow, and maybe even high 30s for Sunday morning, which would be quite a change from what we have been seeing over the last couple of days. Low 60s tonight, 60 in Tallahassee and Monticello. Some showers, about a 30% chance of rain. Going into tomorrow, into the mid-70s, 77 in Tallahassee and Monticello, 75 down in Caribou, cooler down in Apalachicola, 74. Up north, also looking at those lower to mid-70s. So if we go into your Halloween forecast, 55 degrees when you start trick-or-treating, between 5 and 7, no frightful weather, but those winds continuing to make their way out of the northwest. And for your 7-day forecast, really starting to cool down Saturday into Sunday, 39 your low for Sunday morning, so watch out for that. But right now, we'll take it out to the southeast. Jake has some interesting stuff for us going in the rest of the south.
Oh yeah, Braden, thanks a lot. And when we expand out towards the south, the cold fronts you just mentioned are going to affect the entire southeast region, tri-state region, and this is a good look at how things are split up right now. 77 and 80 around the Florida Panhandle, and as you move up towards the northwest, temperatures start dropping fairly dramatically. 68 over there in Memphis, Nashville seeing mid-60s too. So this is going to be the trend over the next few days as this front progresses on, and we're going to see another one come through and drop the temperatures once again. But this is a good look at what's really causing these westerlies right now. We have a pretty dramatic dip in the jet stream, and this flow, you notice 13 miles per hour up there in Atlanta. The stronger winds have that curvature that is associated with the dip in the jet stream, bringing us this first round of colder air, and that's going to be the story around the tri-state region. Taking a look at the moisture, it's a little better look at things. 71 is our relative humidity right now. Over here, 71 in Montgomery as well. But then you move up there, 33 in Tupelo, and Little Rock seeing 28%. So things are much drier behind this advancing front than they are right here in the capital city. And even over there in Savannah by the coast, 47. So as this guy moves off towards the Atlantic, things are going to be dropping pretty dramatically, but much drier, much colder as we move in. And once again, we see the moisture moving in from this curvature, once again, that I was just mentioning. Over here towards the Atlantic, we got plenty of orange, which is dry air off towards the Atlantic. It's actually going to hinder development of storms that we'll discuss later in that region. But for now, a little bit of moisture moving in. We do have some pop-up showers occurring all over, some rain showers. That's going to be prevalent throughout the night as we move through. This is another good radar image of that front moving through, bringing the drier, spotty showers tonight, and then slightly cooler conditions moving in to tomorrow, but we still have another one coming through that's going to drop us into 30s in some locations. But out on the water, big story here is northwesterlies 15 to 20 miles per hour, and then same thing, even out on the ocean, we have the same deal. Northwesterlies are prevalent, the winds, so we're not getting a lot of moisture off the Gulf right now, which is why we're not seeing a huge amount of rain where we are for the time being. But right now, for tonight, 60 degrees is going to be our low, 47 up there. So once again, the split, things are getting colder up and towards the northwest. And for tomorrow, 86 in Orlando. Things are staying warm, not going to be quite as cold as we're expecting over the weekend. But for now, we're going to head back to the desk. And Jonathan, what do you think about that weather what I was just describing? We're going to be seeing some pretty fantastic things going on over the next few days.
Yeah, weather's going to be cool, and it's also going to be cool in Louisville for the game tomorrow night. Up at Louisville, starts off at 7:30. It's going to be cool.
Oh, the temperatures should be. You saw how we're going to be seeing things. That front will be closer to them by then than it will be to us. So things will be down over there.
Yeah, temperatures will be starting off in the low 50s, falling into the upper 40s. Not totally out norm for them playing, but it will be a little bit cool for many of the Florida fans heading out.
Especially
up
for
there.
a 7:30 kickoff at night, right?
Yeah. And heading around the country in general, we are looking quite nice across the East Coast. Here's a look at that. That first front stands right out along the East Coast from New England all the way down into South Florida and all the way down into the New Orleans area and into lots of places across the East Coast. These temperatures are starting to fall across most of the middle Mississippi Valley. High pressure is starting to work in here, but it's not going to last for very much longer. We're seeing some disturbed weather in the Dakotas, and that's the first sign of changes that'll be heading into our weekend forecast. Around the rest of the country, there's plenty of rainfall occurring over in the Northwest as well. Dry conditions across most of the Rockies, and that's the way that's going to stay for the Halloween forecast as well. Warm temperatures across most of the midsection of the country, 75 degrees in Dallas, 81 in San Antonio, but that cooler air has started to work its way in across the Northeast, 59 degrees in DC right now, a little bit warmer in Boston at 63 degrees, but the temperatures are falling right now. 50 degrees cooler today than it was yesterday in Washington, DC. Some of these temperatures could tumble 10 to 15 degrees, and will actually be 10 to 15 degrees cooler on Sunday morning than we would be normally for this time of the year. But there's plenty of warm air across the west. This isn't going to last a whole lot longer, but this will stick around for Halloween, so don't worry about if you're up in the northern Rockies there. What you will have to worry about is a couple of these spotty showers. Most of these are falling apart as they move into southeast Alabama and across the western panhandle right now, but they will be sticking around. There's a 30% chance of rain here across the Big Bend area for the overnight hours up into the northeast. Most of the rain is starting to work out of the area, but is starting to get into eastern parts of New England. Some heavier showers in western Massachusetts and into northwestern Connecticut right now. Again, that's heading out to sea. Here's the cooler and the drier air working on the winds from the north and west. Lots of dry air across the northern tier of the United States right now. And this is the next system we're going to start to talk about well up into Canada. The U.S. border isn't even on this map, but there's plenty of dry air up in here and very cool weather, and that's all going to dive down towards the south over the next few days, bringing us temperatures down into the low to mid 30s in our northern areas, and then mid to upper 30s as we head into the coastal areas across the next couple of days. But this is high pressure. This is what's going to stick around for most of the country over the next few days, really bringing warm, a little bit windy conditions as we head into late Halloween evening for the kids in St. Louis over to Kansas City and Oklahoma City. Wet weather across the northwestern part of the country in Washington and into Oregon. Really, that's the big trouble spot right now, and that's the way it's going to stay for the next couple of days. We've got more conditions to talk about in Halloween forecast here across the country. But first, we're going to take it over to Jake right now with a look at the local forecast.
All right, thanks, Jonathan. And great look at the national, but let's bring it back to the capital city. Let's get a look at the next few days heading into Halloween. We have Thursday, 10% chance of rain as this first front moves through, but Friday's looking great with a low of 46, so things are going to be pretty cool moving into Halloween. But like I said, storms tonight. As we move on towards the future, though, things are going to be clearing up, and we might see temperatures as low as 35 in the capital city coming up this weekend. But for now, 70s or upper 70s, lower 80s around the board. We have 77 right here at St. Mark's, 77 Tallahassee, and up there in Bainbridge, 81 degrees. So this is really how it is right now anyway. 75 in Perry is kind of the cold spot, or the cooler spot, I should say. But taking a look at the winds right now, we do have some onshore flow, there we go, coming off 6 miles per hour in St. Mark's, Tallahassee seeing at 3. But the big story, if you go a little bit up north, is jet stream curvature, 13 miles per hour and then 8 up here. So we have this curvature bringing in these this cold front, these cooler, drier temperatures we're going to be noticing over the next few days. And right now we have some clouds moving over the Big Bend region. Not a whole lot to talk about shower-wise yet, but we got to keep our eyes on it throughout the night because as this front progresses, that's just going to be the, we see it right here, the pop-ups all over right now. Just some thunderstorms embedded with this system as it moves on through. Got to keep our eye on it, extending all the way up to the northeast, but in terms of Tallahassee, there's going to be some pop-up showers throughout the night. But this first front's going to move on off, and then we're going to have breezy and sunny conditions moving into the weekend. And then as the second one moves through, this one's going to be the winter blast. This one right before Halloween should be cool, but as Halloween, we're done with trick-or-treating. I'm going to dress up as myself here. But as we're done with trick-or-treating, temperature is going to be dipping almost into the 30s, or will be in the 30s in the capital city. Other regions will be seeing temperatures dip pretty significantly. But for tonight, 60 degrees. Like I said, some showers, got to keep our eyes on it. 30% chance is what I have it as right now. The winds are 5 miles per hour out of the west. Going to be looking for more of a west-northwest turn over the night as the front progresses. And then for tomorrow, 75 degrees, some early morning showers. Things are going to be cooler, and winds finally out of the north, 5 to 10 miles per hour. So what are we going to be doing over the next few days? Tomorrow's going to be a mild day, short sleeves, a lot like today. Light jacket for tomorrow. Things are going to be cooling down into Halloween, and then cold blast. We're going to need to bundle up, wear pants, boots, whatever you're going to need moving through. But for 7-day Halloween, like I said, going to be still pretty cooling down, and then 39 Sunday night's going to be the low then. So for now, we're going to pass it back to Jonathan and Shane for some more info. What do you have for us, guys?
Thanks, Jake. Well, first we've got a breakdown of Halloween forecasts region by region across the country.
Well, the good spots are going to be mainly in the Rocky Mountains and right here at home.
Yeah, that's interesting because the fronts passing through our region, leaving us clear and cool. The Rockies are going to be warm.
Yeah, high pressure is in control in the Rockies, and we're going to be in between fronts here in the southeast before that big one comes in, probably Sunday night.
Yes, that's going to leave it especially cool. We'll be getting more of that later. But let's look at the west coast. Is going to be pretty rainy for Halloween.
Yeah, there's a system moving in right now, and it's going to kind of linger into Friday evening for the Pacific Southwest, bringing maybe some mountain snow, but mostly rain across the Pacific Northwest.
Yes, and they also might see some snow in the Michigan region.
Yeah, there's a storm system that's moving in. That may be the first snow of the season up for many parts of Michigan, maybe into northern Ohio.
Yes, and how exciting that happens to fall on Halloween. But where there's not any snow is the Sunshine State, and that's where we're going to take right now. Right now, it's pretty warm across the whole state, as we would expect. 77 here in Tallahassee, 71 in Pensacola. We're a little bit cooler up here because we've got some clouds in the region associated with that cold front that are holding down our temperatures. But Orlando's bright and sunny and up there at 84 degrees. Scattered clouds across South Florida, keeping them a little cooler as well. Here's the current winds, and they really indicate where that front is. Right now we can see those winds from the south here in Tallahassee, but they're out of the west here around Fort Myers. That's along with the sea breeze. The winds will be shifting. The direction will indicate the front passing through, but the front is even more clearly defined on this relative humidity map right here. We've got 71% here in Tallahassee, so it is rather sticky outside. You can really detect that. It's a big shift from those clear, dry days we've had. And Pensacola out there, 87%. That's where they're really feeling the effect of this moisture right now. And as we change our gaze to the satellite and radar, we can see just why they have all that relative humidity out there. It's really not a large band of rain, actually, but we do see spotty showers moving across Escambia County and the rest of the western panhandle of Florida right now, especially up there in the Georgia-Alabama region right now. Now let's really look closely at this system, and we can see this thin band of showers that had a great deal of organization to it about 2 hours ago, but now it's starting to break up, and it's really just popcorn showers moving slowly westward across the region. So we expect them to affect us here in Tallahassee within a matter of hours, so just keep an umbrella handy, nothing really that major. Jacksonville is pretty clear. We've just got a little interference on the radar there. And turning our gaze to South Florida, we've got more of the same for the most part. On land, it's really quite dry. And offshore, we see some rain moving onto the coastal regions right there. Center of Florida, about the same deal. We can see those showers slowly making their way towards the center of Florida, but they're really going to start having their effect there over the next few days. One last look at the Big Bend region, sitting high and dry right now with spotty showers on the way by dark perhaps. And as for tonight in Tallahassee, once it gets dark, how cool will it get? 60 degrees, we're calling it. Cooler still to our west. Pensacola is getting down to 57 tonight. And Miami only down to 70 degrees. No shock there, but they will be getting cooler as well once the front passes their region. As for tomorrow, Miami will climb up to 85 degrees. Fort Myers, 86 degrees, a warm fall day for that region, but quite comfortable here in Tallahassee. where we'll be getting up to only 77 degrees. Beautiful weather all around. And now for a look at the tropical segment, we're going to hand it off to Braden.
Thank you very much, Shane, and we will get into your tropics, Atlantic and Pacific, even though no named storms are looking pretty active. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So your storm names right now, just updated. Hannah, a nice little tropical storm. Gonzalo made it all the way up to a Category 4 hurricane before making its way into Bermuda, which was not a good situation for them. But they are beginning to recover. Faye, also a tropical storm, made its way through. So for our climatology, as we end in October, still a chance that those storms can come up from the Caribbean and curve up into Florida. So we want to make sure we're aware of that. We're not quite out of the woods just yet, but as we go into November, starting next week, our climatology really starts to take a dip in the last 30 days of hurricane season, but again, it doesn't mean that we're quite out of the woods. So stay tuned, the tropics, we still might get a couple of different things. Remnants of Hannah still just still hanging around the Yucatan Peninsula, bringing some clouds and rainfall. They run quite a bit of rainfall from now what has been tropical depression, tropical storm Hannah, and now the remnants of Hannah, just a tropical disturbance. But as we go out here, we got another disturbance making its way closer to Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, out into Haiti. That has about a 30% chance of developing over the next 2 days, so we will keep an eye on that. And as we move into the Eastern Pacific, another really starting to get organized disturbance right here has a 100% chance of development over the next 48 hours. So by tomorrow morning, we will probably be looking and talking about the newest tropical depression right here in the Eastern Pacific, making its way up toward Mexico and up toward the peninsulas up there. So make sure you are cautious, especially if you are going to start traveling over those areas, because you might have a storm that you're grappling with over the next couple days. So we'll bring it back and check out our temperatures over the next couple days as we start to get this cold front to move through. This is about tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll see about lower 70s around the area, lower 60s to where that front has already passed and has already cooled down those temperatures. But let's put this into motion and bring you to Thursday morning, looking at upper 50s, getting into the lower 50s a little later in the morning, especially on to Valdosta, 55 in Albany. But there you go, Montgomery, already getting into the lower 40s. So you can see those temperatures really starting to go down. Tomorrow afternoon, looking at 75 at about 2 o'clock in Tallahassee, making our way to our high of 77, 75 in Valdosta as well. Upper 60s to the north of us, 66 out in Montgomery, 68 down in Dothan. And let's check out real quick what'll be going on south of us, 82 out in Gainesville, 82 out in Orlando as well, 81 in Tampa. So Thursday night starting to cool down even a little more. Adonis is saying 39 for Friday morning. I'm not quite sure about that. I don't think it's going to get that low, probably down to the mid-40s, but sometimes models can do some crazy things. Talking 41 in Valdosta, upper 30s to the north of us is a little more reasonable. But then as we get into Friday afternoon, lower 60, 63 out in Tallahassee, 61 in Valdosta and Albany, and that's all we got for now. We'll bring it back to the desk. John and Shane, quite a somber day in weather history relating to the tropics.
Yeah, this day 2 years ago, we were talking about Hurricane Sandy, and it was starting to create a little bit of havoc in the Halloween forecast as well.
It was indeed. The city that never sleeps got quite a power outage and flooding associated with Sandy right on the eve of Halloween.
And it wasn't just rain either. They had snow on the west side in West Virginia, western parts of Virginia as well.
Yes, it wasn't just New York City, although that's where everyone's attention was focused, but the whole eastern seaboard saw rainfall, lots of devastation from Sandy.
Yeah, unfortunately, Halloween being a couple days later, for 2 years ago, they were canceling Halloween events and pushing them back a week or so, just so they could get the kids out there and return them back to normal schedules.
Yes, it was good that they got them out there, but Halloween itself was a very somber day as there were 148 reported deaths.
Yeah, and it still remains the second costliest disaster in U.S. history.
Indeed, we remember fondly everyone who was affected by the storm, but now on a more positive note, we're going to bring it back home to Tallahassee for a local forecast to cap off the show. Here we go, we're looking at the temperatures that we'll see tomorrow evening, 63 degrees in Tallahassee. But now we're going to look at what the headlines are for the weather story. We're looking at storms tonight, or not really thunderstorms per se, just chance of rain and a clear future ahead of that with some surprisingly cool temperatures coming this weekend. Maybe not completely unseasonable, but much cooler than anything we've seen recently. But as for right now, it's 77 here in Tallahassee under cloudy skies with a 71% humidity, which means that it is a bit sticky out there. We call this the ick factor, so to speak, and the higher that percentage, the more uncomfortable the humidity level is. But as for our neighbors, they're a bit warmer. Quincy's at 82 degrees, and Bainbridge is at 81 right now. So they're still feeling the effects of the heat right now. It may be cloudy, but it is still rather warm out there across the board. As for our dew points out there right now, 67 here in Tallahassee. That's quite close to the current temperature. That's why that humidity is so high. 68 in Bainbridge, 66 in Quincy. So this high humidity is pretty uniform across the Big Bend region. And there's those clouds and rainfall moving through the region right now. And the rain really hasn't settled in on the capital yet, but it will be here before we reach Thursday, that is to say before midnight. So do carry an umbrella if you expect to be outside. You might not get hit with showers, but best to be prepared. So here's a wider view of exactly what's going to happen over the next few days or so. That cold front is going to scoot its way out of here before the sun comes up tomorrow, revealing a gorgeous sunny and actually rather breezy day with a cooler high than we saw today, that's for absolutely certain. And then another cold front is coming in its wake. It's going to be knocking on our doorstep on Halloween, but it won't be saying trick or treat. It will be bringing us a lot colder air still, with some really surprising lows, actually. These are the ones that you're really going to want to break out the winter jackets for, possibly even a scarf if you, say, are from South Florida and 30s give you the chills. But it's going to be 60 degrees tonight in Tallahassee, with, again, some showers as are possible. Breaking down the day tomorrow will start off at 60 degrees as that rain finally tapers off and the clouds really get out of our region, clearing quickly to a warmer lunchtime of 71 degrees, which is actually rather cool for that time, and then getting down to 58 degrees. But let's take a look at some spooky cities, as we call them, for Halloween. Let's try Batcave, North Carolina, which will be experiencing 50 degrees with a chance of rain as Halloween comes along. Sleepy Hollow, New York, same temperature and cloudy overall. As for the 7 days ahead, we're looking at 75 degrees during the afternoon on Halloween with a low of 46 degrees in the morning to follow, with highs only in the 60s over the weekend. And there's that low Sunday morning, 39 degrees. Brr.
Yeah, and they had a very cold week back in 1993 for Halloween back a little more than 2 decades ago. They started off the day in the 40s, but they only made it up to 52 degrees during that day.
That's remarkable. I hope that their costumes were warm that year.
And trick-or-treating got even worse, where temperatures fell into the low 30s to 30 degrees here in Tallahassee in 1993.
A below freezing Halloween. That's something that you don't see very often, and we're not going to get anywhere close to that, but people will be calling it cool all the same.
Yeah, this weekend, look at the 7 day there. Temperatures are going to be starting off in the low to mid 70s Thursday and Friday, but cooling off quite cold down to below 40 degrees this weekend.
Yeah, with getting only up to 65 degrees on Saturday, 69 on Sunday. That's the day that people are going to have jackets on the whole day long, but climbing back into the upper 70s for early next week for some rather gorgeous days.
Yeah, now we're always looking forward to the Halloween costume pictures and the pictures of the weather all the time. Send those to us on Twitter, on Instagram now, as well as Facebook. You can always watch us live on livestream.com FSU Weather.
Yep, follow us on any social media, and be sure to tune in Friday night for our special Halloween program.
I'm meteorologist Jonathan Bellis.
And I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton.
It's going to be a great weekend for all of us here, and we're hoping for a win in Louisville. Go Noles.